Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be a bit more engaging. I'll carry you along. Okay, so please. I'm speaking, so what William has done. So Emmanuel started by telling us about the economy, the broader economy, and the linkage between economy and then savings and investment. And William focused on savings and then investment. I am speaking on the subject matter, financial independence is possible. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah, I will start with a few questions, a few important questions. Did you know that if you could invest a lump sum of 20,000 cedis and top up with a monthly amount of 500 cedis at an interest rate of 22% per annum, compounded quarterly, and you are willing to increase your monthly investment, this 500 cedis, by 15% every year, you would make over 1 million Ghana cedis in 13 years. Did you know that? God bless you for your honesty. Did you know most of the things we buy, we call assets, are really liabilities? Thank you for the feedback. Did you know that you do not always need money to make money? Oh, come on, give me feedback. Next slide. Did you know you could send your money to work for you? Yes, no, it may be so. Did you know you could have very good academic results and have a good job but become financially poor? That one, yeah, you know, pa. And last but not the least, did you know most employees cannot survive for 3 months without a paycheck? Yes or no? So let me ask that important question. What is that important question? And that question is to you. If you lost your job today, 17th January 2020, how many months, how many years can you survive without salary? $30 days is a good number. 10 days. Thank you for your honesty. But what we want to do, the reason why we are having this conference, is that you will get to a point when you are asked the same question, you will say, for the rest of my life. Next slide. There are two important things you need in the journey to become financially independent. The first one is what I call the God factor, very important. So you have the God factor, very important. Beyond the God factor is appropriate information, the knowledge we need. You can never put a gallon of water into a small bottle of water. Why? Because the bottle doesn't have the capacity to carry a gallon of water. In the same way, you cannot give $1 million to somebody who does not have the capacity of 100,000. They will die before their time. Next slide. Next slide. On the 14th January, I went to the net to check on this information. Periodically, we discuss it, myself and William. The Forbes list of billionaires. And when you review that list, and I check on the 14th January, number 1 up to 10 on that list, you will find 10 of them from one country. Number 1 up to 10, you find 7 of them from one country, USA. With a total net worth of $743 billion for the top 10. Number 1 up to 200 on that list. Number 1 up to 200, there is only one from Africa. Aliko Dangote. And look at his position. Quickly, guys. Next slide. I signal you. Let's be quick. It's okay. Next slide. Yeah. On the same day, I went to the World Health Organization website to look at Ghana, a few numbers, Ghana compared to the United Kingdom. You can see the population, but there is something called life expectancy at birth. When you look at life expectancy at birth, Ghana compared to the United Kingdom, you would realize that for a man in Ghana, life expectancy is 62 years. And this is from the World Health Organization website, 62 years. Immediately you go to the United Kingdom, is 80 years. Enti ya wo Ghana ha, onipa ya wo one or not that same day no. Obenyini 18 years abroad so. The person is likely to live 18 years more than you. If you're a man. If you're a woman, you're looking at 64 and 83. You have a gap of 19 solid years. And I drew down to look for another number. Total health expenditure per capita. The amount we spend on health divided by the population. And I realized for us, we are doing $145 on each Ghanaian. Britain spends $3,377 on each Briton. So when you look at the amount we spend on our health, they spend 23 times more. So it's not surprising we die 18 years before they die. And when you check for other countries, you will see, except a few isolated countries, you will see a direct correlation between life expectancy and income levels. A rich man once said, if you took all the money in the world and divided it equally among everybody, it will soon be back in the same pocket it was before. Can I repeat that? Ufa wiasiske nyina na uche ne pepepa enche. Omo anom ye sikafo no besan ye sikafo. Omo anom ye hiafo no besan ye hiafo bio. Do you believe that statement? Do you believe it? Wow. And Robert Kiyosaki says, money is one form of power, but what is even more powerful is financial education. Once money comes and money goes, but if you have the education about how money works, you gain power over it and you can begin building wealth. Do you believe that one too? Next slide. Traditionally, the thinking is go to school. Once you get a good education, you find a good job with secure benefits. Work till you are 60 and you get a good pension. And when we're growing up, we're told, as you are going to school, study hard so that you get a good job. And by the time you are retiring, you are financially independent. From your own observation, is this true? So what it means is this advice could be perfect in the 70s, not in 2020. What is the new way of thinking? The new way of thinking is to save, defer consumption, but not just defer consumption, invest. And don't just invest, but ultimately you want to become financially. That is where we want to get to. What does financial independence mean? Financial independence means the ability to sustain your desired lifestyle without salary. So you get to a stage where you can sustain your desired lifestyle even without salary. So for example, if you need 4,000 cedis a month for your desired lifestyle, what it means is that for a year, how much will you need? 4,000 multiplied by 12 is what? Is what? 48,000. Very good. If you have investment of just 300,000 cedis, and by the time we are done, you will know that everybody in this room can cross 300,000. If you have just 300,000 and you can get an average interest of 20%, the fixed income fund, EDC fixed income fund, has done an average of 22% over the last 7 years. So if you are using 20%, what it means is your 300,000 is generating 60,000 a year as interest. But how much do you need within a year? Now, come on, I want us to engage. How much do you need within a year? 48,000. How much is your investment generating? 60,000. Which one is higher? What it means at this point in time, the return on investment is higher than how much you need. Without salary, life will continue. So when you get to that stage, we say you are financially, we want to make it very simple. At that point, nobody can threaten you. Your boss threatens you, you also threaten him. Say, boss, this is your last one. If you do this again, I will resign. So I want to walk you through 5 keys very quickly that will make you financially independent. And to make our session interactive, we'll rehearse the keys together. So let's go to key number 1. Key number 1 is take a decision to become financially independent. Can we rehearse it together, please? Oh, come on. I need energy from you. Can we rehearse it together, please? If you can, look at somebody seated by you and tell him or her. Poverty and riches are both based on decisions. How is the decision taken? If you don't decide to be rich, you will be poor. It's not salary. The lack of money is a major source of stress in our lives and relationships. True or false? True or false? We are a very religious country. Thank God for prayer and fasting. But you can pray and fast and still die of hunger. Next slide. Who said financial independence or who said money is not important? Baby, why in the car says papa? This life is not all about money, I know, but money must be understood. Ladies and gentlemen, almost everything physical can be answered with money. Money will give you the ability to do more things. True or false? And more things means more things. And it means more things, including imagine, think about, dream. Money makes. There was a picture circulating on social media. A very old man getting married to a young woman. And when you look at the man, you look at the young woman, something may have informed. Money will give you access to better healthcare facilities. I even understand money can make marriage better. This one too, you know, pa. Can a woman wake up in the morning and put you, I love you on fire to cook for the family? I was at a seminar recently, a corporate seminar with one of the companies, and I had a new slogan from that seminar. Somebody said, when I said money can make marriage better, a lady said, romance without money is equal to annoyance. And money will give you access to better educational facilities. True or false? I have a classical, I will share 2 classical stories very quickly on this. So I was in a camp in 2000 and I spoke to some young people on the subject matter, see you at the top. I finished, a young lady comes to me and says, sir, based on what you have shared with us, I am in secondary school. Let me have your number. I will make you proud. I'll make 8 A1s. She took my number. Long story short, she made 8 A1s. What do you want to be? I want to be a doctor. Bought forms, KNUST. Admission came. Her name was not on the list. It must be a mistake. Let's go and check. She goes and she's told that if she's willing to be a fee-paying student, she will be admitted. She made 8 A1s. But this young lady was the first daughter of a single mother of 4. This young lady was home when KNUST reopened. She made 8 A1s. It took and some networking we had, put a few. Today, as I'm talking to you now, she's a medical doctor. But the question is, how many medical doctors are selling on our streets? If you're a parent here and your parent could not give you the education you needed, if you don't do the same for your children, they will question you. You will live long. The second story has to do with this gentleman who saw a job vacancy in Europe, applied for it, went for an interview, came back, called me, said, Charlie, the guy is not going to pick me. Why? He said, look, he himself, he couldn't fit in. As he went into this company with young, sharp guys, Ivy League school graduates, even his self-confidence was low. So he came, he sold his Corolla. He sold his 2 plots of land at OEB. He sold everything he can sell. And guess what? He went to Harvard. By the time he was done with Harvard, he had a job as an expatriate in Rwanda. Today, as I'm talking to you, he's bought a house at East Legon. He sold the 2 plots of land at OEB. Last year, I went into a training in Harvard, and one of the things one of the professors said was the fact that people bring their children to Harvard not because the education there is superior to the others, but because it's Harvard. So you pay huge sums, but your ward there is likely to have a classmate who will probably become the president of a country. And have you heard this terminology before? There is no unemployed Harvard graduate. Faith and Christianity cannot end with the jumping and clapping. Next slide. For we are very religious. Proverbs 22:7. The Bible says, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. This is also in the Bible. And scripture cannot be broken. If you are familiar with the story of Jacob sending his children to Egypt to go and look for food, and they discovered their brother is a big man, Joseph said, go and bring my father. So they went and reported to their father what Joseph had told them. And I pick a scripture out of the report. Genesis 45:27. And they told him, they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when their father Jacob, when he saw the wagons represent the V8 of their time. When he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. Proverbs 19:7. Can we read it together, please? One, go. It's also in the Bible. Next slide. 3 things will hinder you from taking off. 1, procrastination. And we decided to have this conference at the beginning of the year. So you add it to your plans for the year. If you don't have an investment, if you don't have a standing order in place, we'll do it this January. You won't procrastinate. 2, excuses. You can always find an excuse why you cannot do it. And excuse number 1 is the salary is not enough. And 3 is blame. We need to deal with these 3 self-imposed limitations. Guys, key number 2, plan your finances. Can we rehearse it together? So I am happy to inform you that this year we are starting a new service called financial planning, and I am basically going to touch on the things we are going to be doing, because you need to plan. You see, when was the last time you sat down to plan your finances? You need to ask yourself, where do I want to find myself the next 10 years? 20 years, my children, all that. And you can plan for anything, but there are 5 areas I want to touch on that I believe are very important. And that will be retirement, housing, children's education, giving back, and high life. Next slide. So, 5 important areas. First one is retirement planning. Next slide. Retirement planning. You got to plan for retirement. Next slide. Okay. Can we look at the retirement planner quickly? Are you there? Let's look at the retirement planner. So this is one tool we use in helping people plan. Can I get anybody more than 50 years? 50 years. We use you as a... Yes. Please, Jojo, get him the microphone quickly. 50, more than 50. Yeah. What is your current age? Current age? No, he's behind. Your current age, please.
59 years.
59?
Yeah, October.
Oh, that would be tight. I want somebody between 50 and 55. And my sincere apologies. Let's use the lady. My sincere apologies, sir. Sincere apologies. What is the current age? Current age?
50.
50. So let's put her age there. 50 years. What is the retirement age?
60.
Let's put the retirement age 60 there. Life expectancy. We need to use some years to plan for a post-retirement. How long do you wish to live after retirement?
40.
40. So put 90 there for her. Life expectancy. Guys, quickly, let's do 90 for life expectancy. 90. Okay, so we are assuming a few things. That long-term interest rate after retirement is 16%, and then inflation, long-term inflation is 12%. Ma'am, if you were retiring today, how much money will give you a comfortable life every month? Comfortable life?
About 5,000.
5,000. Put 5,000 there for her. Very good. But you know what? Because when you retire, and don't forget we are planning for 40 years after your retirement. So we would increase this 5,000 by 10% every year for you, so that you can keep pace with inflation. So let's do annual increment of 10%. Ma'am, how much lump sum do you have today that we can put into your retirement plan?
About 200,000.
300,000. Beautiful. Put 300,000 there. And let's change the interest rate to 20%. You said 200. 200. Good. Let's go and look at the results. So we are assuming we can get 20% until she retires. And then we drop to 16%. The result is that we have 10 years to plan for 30 years. And she said 5,000. But because inflation is 12%, by the time she is retiring, she will be taking 15,529 cedis every month. That would be the future value of the 5,000 in 10 years' time. 12% increment every year. Till age 90, increasing by 10% every year. Let's look at how much she needs to contribute every month. Go up. So you have 200 already. You have to do 3,372 Ghana cedis every month from now till age 60. Can you do it?
I'll have to plan to do that.
Because if she can't do it, then we have to change the lifestyle from the 5,000. We either reduce it or she dies earlier. Instead of the 90. Because we are making provision for 40 years. Which is which?
Change of lifestyle.
You do what?
Change lifestyle.
You change lifestyle from 5,000 to water is finding its level. Thank you, ma'am. Can I find somebody who is less than 30 years? I want you to see something. Less than 30. Less than 30 years. Quick. And team, let's use her. We are using somebody here. What is the current age? Current age?
27.
27, put it there. Retirement age? 60. Life expectancy? 70. Oh, my friend.
80.
Grow small. What is the meaning of this? 80. We won't allow you to die at 70. So 80 years. So the same assumptions. If you are retiring today, how much will give you a comfortable life every month?
5,000.
The same 5,000. Watch something. Let's watch something. How much lump sum do you have that we can put into your plan?
10,000.
How much?
10,000.
10,000. Mommy had 200,000. He has 10,000. Look at the difference. Let's go and look at the results. Mommy was going to take 15,000 every month. He is going to take 210,000 cedis every month. Because we are looking at building up from 27 till age 60. Let's go and see how much he needs to put away every month. 857 cedis a month. Can you do it?
Yeah.
We are game. So you have a retirement plan.
Thank you.
Go down and let's see 10 years delay. By you, if you don't start now, in 10 years you'll be 37. When you are 37, you have to do 6,193 cedis a month. You better go and pick an application form. Let's go back to our slides. So the point I am making is the younger you are, the easier it becomes to do what? To plan. Move to the next slide. And last year, a gentleman came to me who had worked for 35 years, had gone on retirement. The lump sum he received was 10,500 cedis. 35 years. And his monthly pension is 350 cedis a month. But I also have a client who retired December 2017. I worked with him from 2009. He retired. He said, Paul, come home, let's have a conversation. I go home, he asks a simple question. How much interest do I make every month? I did the calculation. He was making 60,000 a month. 60,000 a month interest. He says, you know what? From January 2018, every month pay 30,000 into my account. And I asked him for what? He said, for spending. And I said, but your retirement. He said, yes, I did deferred consumption. Now it's time to. So he says, my retirement plan is 1,000 a day. So the 30,000 is for 30 days. And he took 30,000 every month. Beginning of 2019, he moved it to 40,000 every month. And he takes it on a monthly basis. And it's just around half of his interest. The thing is not difficult. It's not difficult. Just come, let's do a retirement plan for you. And we are not charging you for this. You are already at the crossroads. You have a life-changing decision to make. Will you create the retirement that you want, or you will take the one that shows up? Next slide. Everybody here will find your year of birth either here or here. Once you find your year of birth, next to it you find your age. Once you find your age, next to it you find the number of years you are left to retire. And once you find the number of years you are left to retire, next to it you find the number of salaries you are left to take before you retire. Locate yourself and let's continue. So if you were born in 75, you are 45, you have 15 years to retire. You have 180 more salaries to take. The second area I want to touch on very quickly is housing. And William touched on housing. So the point I want to make with housing, and I almost made the same mistake with my wife. A lot of people make this mistake where we confuse dream house with first house. Next slide. So the first house we wanted to build was something like this. It is called dream house. It is called what? Let it remain your dream. If you are the average worker and you attempt to build this house, you will never finish. And you know what complicates it? You are paying rent, and at the same time you have money locked up in bricks and mortar. By the time you are done with this house, the average person will use between 10 and 20 years. By the time you are done with this house, all your children are gone. So what is the point? I have clients who are on retirement. I visited one who lives in a house like this. Say, Paul, no, these days, because of the Kotoje problem, the knee problem, we have moved from upstairs. Now we are down. So now it's our house help who has moved up. Instead of building this dream house, let's look at the first house. Move to the next one. No, go. Yeah, next one. This is a 3-bedroom house. How many bedroom? Anybody who has a land, who has started work, if you apply your mind to it, I tell you, 5 years, you can build this house. 5 years. You don't need more than 12,000 cedis to buy enough blocks to build this house. Where you have a challenge will be the foundation and then the roofing. But once you roof it, whether it is plastered or not plastered, painted or not painted, it's your house. And anybody who lives in his own house knows that the first day you sleep in your house, the feeling be different. But of course, there are two options. You either build or buy. And it's the reason why we are working with our colleagues. We are in one bank, Eco Bank. If you need to buy, then we make what is called mortgage available to you. So you don't end up using your own money to be buying or to be building, but rather the bank provides you money, and the difference between paying rent and servicing your mortgage is that if you pay 2 years rent advance, that money is gone for good. It will never come back again. But if you took a mortgage from a bank and you are servicing it every month when you service your mortgage, you are owning the house. You are owning the house. The day you pay your last one, the house is for you. But you are living in the house already and you are owning it. Doesn't it make sense? Yeah. So you need a mortgage. And I was with the head of consumer on Sunday during the Thanksgiving. I asked him about mortgage, and he told me this year EcoBank is going to be big on it. So when we do financial planning for you, we also help you own a house. Next slide. The next one is children's education planning. 2 levels of planning. Plan for current school fees and plan for college school fees. Current school fees, the simple thing you can do, look at the total school fees for the year divided by 12 months. You know the school fees per month. Get the fixed income account in place. Every month, standing order into that account. So you are paying the school fees on a monthly basis. When school reopens, redemption, you take your money, you pay the school fees. But where it's challenging is college education. Look at somebody who has 3 children, 6, 4, and 2. Age of entry to university, 18 years. KNUST fee paying between 7K and 12K. Let's use 9K as an example. Look at the ages again. 6, 4, and 2. Next slide. If school fees is going to increase by 5, next slide please. School fees is going to increase by 5% every year, and we can invest and get 20% interest compounded quarterly. The school fees we are using is 9,000. By the time the first child, who is 6 years, is going to university in 12 years time, age 6 to 18, the school fees is 16,900. Second year, third year, fourth year, total 73,000. The child is 6 years. We have 12 years to plan. How much do we need to put away every month? 130 cedis a month. For the second child, who is 4 years, we have 14 years to plan. We need 80,000. How much do we need to put away? 95 cedis. For the third child, who is 2 years, we have 16 years to plan. We need 89,000. How much do we need to put away? 69 cedis. So in fact, for the 3 children, we need 294 cedis every month. And fee paying, we have secured school fees. 294 cedis. But if you delay for 10 years, the first child will be 16, second will be 14, third will be 12. For the same school fees, you have to put away 4,390 cedis every month. At what point must you start planning for the children's education? At what point must you start planning for children's education? When? Yesterday. Next slide. The fourth area of planning is giving back. It's also important you give back to society. It's important your life blesses another person. It's not just about you and your family living in a good community. It's also about Nyamina Mumubeye Inshra Amobi. Somebody said, as I said, to me, boy, you know, Kasa Adaroma. Adaroma. And yes, Shelly Adaroma. And the final area of planning is what I call high life. Say with me, high life. Oh, come on, say with me, high life. High life simply means that if you defer consumption, you invest once in a while, chop some. Once in a while, take a good vacation. Once in a while, pamper yourself. Hello? I nearly said this. If you permit me, I'll say it. Can I say it? A lot of Ghanaian marriages, the whole marital life is a triangle. Church, work, home. Can we go? 10 years of marriage. 20 years. We are on retirement. No, on retirement is a straight line. Church, home. Church, home. And yes, my papa. Last year I was in a church in Kumasi, Sunday morning, and I said, young men in this church, learn to take your wives out on vacations. There was a woman seated with a man. All I saw was a woman holding the man's ear. Don't wait to celebrate the dead. We like funerals. If you have a loved one, do her show, do him show. Let them enjoy some of the money. Key number 3 is pay yourself, invest all, win first. Can we rehearse it together? So we work hard, we make money, but don't forget the money we make, it's not all for you. Your landlord will take part of that money. Ghana Water will take part. ECG will take part. MTN will take part. If you are not careful, you work hard, you make money, but Aketuyano wahe. Aketuyano wahe. Where is the money? It's gone. Because even though you are working hard, you are distributing the money. So we are saying that learn to pay yourself. You see, and I know most of you will tell me that the salary is not enough. There is a law called the Parkinson Law. The Parkinson Law explains why most people retire poor, even after earning substantial income through their working years. The Parkinson Law says that no matter how much people earn, they will always adjust their lifestyle to match their salary. So once you increase their salary, give them 6 months, they will adjust lifestyle to match the salary. And I tested this beginning of last year. I was in a church in Takwa, big church, and I asked a simple question. How many of you struggle with your salary? If your salary is not enough, let me see your hand. All the hands went up. Then I asked a follow-up question. How many of you believe that if your salary is doubled, you begin to live a comfortable life? Let's go through an exercise. They came, I gave them pieces of paper and I asked each of them to write their current salary for me. Among the 10, the lowest income earner was on a salary of 350 cedi a month. For some reason, this guy who earns 350 a month believes that if it is doubled, he will live a comfortable life. What is the double of that? Among the 10, one was on 1,500 salary. Among the 10, one was on a 5,000, one was on 11,000. The highest among the 10 was on a 20,000 salary. So the guy earning 350 cedi says it's not enough. And the guy earning 20,000 cedi says it's not enough. So I asked the congregation, do you believe the salary is a problem? And they said no. The issue is not the salary. The issue is a culture. Hello? I did a seminar 2017 for a company. We finished, one big man says, I need you one-on-one. We went to sit down. Say, Charlie, my salary no be enough. I've even borrowed money, blah, blah, blah. We drill down. Just anybody to guess how much he was earning in 2017. He was earning a month. How much? 5,000. Thank you. He was on a 40,000 salary. You see the way you are remembering. You too. If somebody gets to know your salary, the person will say, these are the people destroying this country. Next slide. So I recommend the 10-20-70 principle. If you are a tither, pay your tithe of 10%, but every worker must invest at least 20% of your salary every month, and the 70% can be for all other expenses. The accounts have a proverb that says, only the wise bite bones out of eggs. Because money is like an egg. If you get fresh egg this morning, you can get your nice omelette. Is that correct? Now when you have toasted bread, we now when you have this way, so when you but the same egg can be given to a fowl. It hatches into a chicken. That chicken will grow up one day into an adult fowl. And when you kill that fowl and you prepare your soup or stew and you pick the thigh, and you bite the bone in the thigh, you have beaten bone out of your egg. Money is like an egg. Next slide. But the only way you can find the money is to work spending habits. Anytime you are spending, you need to ask yourself, is it worth spending this money? And here, good news. Every expenditure can be cut down between 1% and 70%. Every expenditure. Your salary must dictate what you eat, not your appetite. Can I repeat that? Your salary must dictate what you eat, not your appetite. Look, in this journey to become financially independent, you are not in competition with anybody. You are not in competition with anybody. Else you can never become financially independent. Move to the next slide. Move to the next slide. And the next one. Get the whole family involved. Don't limit it to today's conversation. Sit with your spouse, with your children. Let them all understand why we need to put some mechanisms in place. Why you won't throw over leftover food in the year 2020. Because it's strategic in the journey towards becoming financially independent. When you go to the mall, agree on budget with the children at home. Everybody knows their budget from home. And we do it a lot. So when they go, they pick what they like. When they pick it, just the first thing they will look for. The first thing. The guy has a budget of 200 cedis. He picks the toy, it is 300 cedis. Say, oh! Let me go and look for something else. If you don't do that, they will go there and they will disgrace you. Are you with me? So let's get the entire family involved. Next slide. Go back to the slide before this. And it's important whenever you buy things from the supermarket, from the Shell and Total, from the filling stations, pick receipts. Me, not once, not twice, not 3 times. You will pay more than what you ask for. And when you ask for receipt, half of the time they will tell you the machine is not working. It's not true. They have added 20 cedis to the things you bought. Next one. Key number 4 is create your own money machine. Can we rehearse it together? The whole idea about money machine is that there is a point when a man works for money, but you must get to a stage when money must work for you. You must get to a stage where money must work for you. There is an old story of the goose that laid the golden egg. And I'll wrap up this and quickly go to key number 5. Because of time constraint. But this story is important in what I am talking about. So, this is an old story. I am repackaging it for you. So, this village with poor farmers in it. Then a visitor comes to town calls a poor farmer, let's call him Opo man. What is the name? Oh, what is the name? And then gives Opo man a gift. And the gift was a goose, or if you like, a hen. The next morning, the goose laid an egg, and it was a golden egg. Or it looked like gold. Very heavy. Opo man goes to check, and he realized it's pure gold. So they asked him, what do you want to do with this egg? He said, sell it for me. So he sold it, made some money. The following day, another golden egg. The next 3 months, every day, golden eggs. This time, Opo man had the Land Cruiser. His children were attending good schools. When he goes to the shop, tip 100 Ghana. Until one day, Opo man calls his children and says, look, I have a problem with this goose. It is laying only 1 egg per day. Bring a knife. Let's kill it. And let's take out all the eggs. So they bring a knife. They killed it. They opened the goose up. Guess what they found? Guess what they found? Nothing, intestines. From that day, there was no golden egg. Within 6 months, he had sold his cars. Until he's walking in town one day, then he meets a guy. And the guy said, I've been looking for you. God bless you, poor man. He said, why? I said, I bought one of those golden eggs from you. And guess what? I decided to hatch it. And I also got a beautiful chicken with golden wings. He grew up and he started laying golden eggs. But unlike you, I never sold my golden eggs. I kept hatching my golden eggs. So today, as I'm talking to you, I have 1,500 birds that are producing 1,500 golden eggs every day. Opo man, God bless you. Next slide. Next slide. So these are automatic money machines. William touched on them, so I will jump them. Paper asset, business. So these are areas you can put your money there and the money works for you like the golden egg. And then it generates some more money. Next one. And next one. Salary is the medicine for managing poverty. It does not cure it. Only a business or an investment cures poverty. Start investing now. If you don't find a way to make your money work for you while you are asleep, somebody says you work until you die, but my quotation says I have to be diplomatic. You will work, you will keep working when you have to be sleeping. Next one. 4 sources of income: employee, business owner, self-employed, investor. The worst among the 4 is employee. If you want to become financially independent, this is where we need to focus. Next one. And next one, because of our time. This is a typical money machine owned by Dangote. The last time I checked, he had 1,500 of these trucks in Ghana. Next slide. Money machine. Next slide. And next slide. The last thing I want to share is launch Operation 1 million. Can we rehearse it together? Oh, I need energy from you. Can we rehearse it together? If you can, I beg you, look at the person seated by you and tell him or her. It simply means that launch a journey towards making your first million Ghana cedis. Do you believe me if I tell you that almost everybody in this room can make 1 million cedis in your lifetime? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Whether your answer is yes or no, ask me how. Ask me. No, ask me. Move to the next slide. If I gave you 5 Ghana cedis and you kept it under your pillow, it will never become 1 million Ghana cedis. However, if you put that 5 Ghana cedis in a savings account and you can get 20% interest a year, within 129 years, you will make your first million. Why? Why? It's too far. Okay, let's change the rate to 20%. Immediately we change it to 20%. In 67 years, you will make your first million. Still. Next slide. How many of you in this room can do 150 cedis every month? Let me see by hand. 150 every month. If you use 22%, which is the return on a fixed income fund over the last 7 years, then in 23 years, you make 1.1 million. 300 a month. Within 19 years, 1.1. 600 a month. Within 17 years, 1.2 million. 1,500 cedis a month. Within 13 years, 1.2 million. 3,000 a month. Within 10 years, 1.2 million. 6,000 a month. Within 7 years, 1.1 million. Everybody here will find your level somewhere. The major challenge is this, that nobody wants to hear 20 years. But whether you want to hear 20 years or not, it will come. How many here remember when President Kofi became the president of Ghana? Do you know this is 20 years? I remember I was in the church one time and I asked them, how many can do 150 a month? The whole church. 300. By the time we got to 1,500, it was left with one woman. 3,000, the same woman. 6,000, the same woman. So I walked close. I said, wow, ma'am, I am impressed with you. I am so impressed. She says, oh, sir, me, I lifted my hand by faith. Me the GDA, no, me the pajamas. So there is something called the power of compounding in your journey to become financially independent, where the interest makes interest and the interest on the interest makes interest and your money keeps growing. Let me take a quotation from Brian Tracy. John D. Rockefeller started working as a clerk, earning $3.75 per week. From this amount, he gave half to his church and saved 50 cents. It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. By the time he was 50, he was perhaps the richest man in the world. And Proverbs 13:11 says that dishonest money dwindles away, but he who gathers money little by little, you don't need super income to become financially independent. You need steady income. And there are people here who are testimonies, people here who started some 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and they've crossed their first million. Next slide. 3 levels of investment, and then I'm done. Next one. So level 1 is when you are doing monthly contribution every month. So look at 100 cedis every month. I am using the same 22%. I don't want you to look at the year 1 to 10. For the younger ones, I want you to look at 20 years and beyond. Look at 20 years. 24,000 is this. Within 30 years, 36,000 grows to 3.3 million Ghana cedis. 100 cedis a month. Next slide. 200 a month. Look at it. 20 years. 200 a month. But this analysis is 40. One, keep this in mind, that in 20 years' time, the purchasing power of 2 million will not be the same as 2 million today. So when you come to us and we are doing financial planning for you, and you say, I want to make 2 million in 20 years, we know you are thinking about 2 million today's term. So we will extrapolate and give you the future value. And it's based on that we do our calculations. But salary will increase, so we cannot say 200 for 20 years. Do you agree with me? So let's look at the situation where we are increasing. We are adding 10,000 lump sum. So immediately you add 10,000 lump sum. Go back to the slide before this one. In 25 years, look at the amount. Once we added the 10,000 lump sum today, because the 10,000, go back to the 10,000 lump sum. Now this 10,000 is going to be working throughout the period. The amount changes in 25 years to 4.4 million. Just because of the 10,000 addition. Do you get me? Go to the slide before. In 25 years, we have 2.2 million. Nothing has changed except starting with 10,000. Go to the slide, next slide, to 4.4 million. So that 10,000 we put away today has generated another 2 million plus. But now, if we decide to be growing our 200 series by 10% every year, go to the next slide. The next slide, please. So now we have 10,000. Go to the next slide. The slide before this one. And we are growing this 200 by 10% every year. Look at the numbers. From 4.4, now we are at 5.6 million. So the whole idea is invest on a monthly basis. If you have a lump sum, it makes the journey easier. But don't end there. On a yearly basis, as your salary is increasing, be increasing how much you are investing. Next one. Look at 500 a month and look at 20 years. 120,000 is how much? 1.9 million. 500 a month. Within 30 years, you're looking at 16.8 million. Next slide. If we added 20,000 lump sum plus the 500, nothing has changed. Within 20 years, you're looking at 3.9 million. Within 30 years, 29 million Ghana cedis. Next one, and next one again. Look at 1,000 cedis every month. And this works for everybody. It doesn't matter your religious background. 1,000 a month. Within 20 years, 3.8 million. Within 30 years, 33.6 million cedis. Next slide. But the same 1,000 Ghana, if we had 50,000 lump sum, within 20 years is 7.5. Within 30 years, 64 million Ghana cedis. Next one, and next one again. Now the final one is 2,000 a month. Within 20 years, 7.7 million. Look at 30 years. The total amount we have invested is 720,000. But this 720,000 has generated interest of 66 million Ghana cedis. And we'll end up with 67. Next slide. If we had 100,000 plus a 2,000, next one and next one. But you got to start early. You got to do what? You got to do what? Because you can't reverse time. The earlier you started, the better. Has it been a good time? Have you enjoyed the session? Has it been a good session? Hey, Mr. MC. If you have enjoyed the session, move to the next slide. And you don't have investment with EDC already. Of course, when we close, pick an application form there. It is fair that if you have enjoyed my session, you don't take the money anywhere. Do you agree with me? 50 Ghana cedis, you can start. 100 Ghana cedis, you can start. If you have investment with us already, please go and pick a direct debit form or a standing order and put your investment on autopilot every month. Sikanito mwa. Are you with me? Next slide. Look at our fixed income fund. Look at the returns over the years from 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, 2019. Over the last 7 years, we've done an average of 22%. Next one. Look at the way our fixed income fund compares to treasury bill. These are the treasury returns. And these are the fixed income returns. On a consistent basis, the fund has done above the treasury bill. But the good news is you can have access to your money anytime you want. How many have made a withdrawal before? Did you suffer? You go to any EcoBank branch, you put in a redemption request. If there is no mistake or anything, maximum 5 days, you get your money. These days we are paying 2 days, 3 days. Next slide. This is the balance fund. William mentioned. You see the volatility because equities are in here. 45, 18, 15, 10. Then it jumps to 35. Then it drops to 8. Then it lands as 2. So this is more long term, and this is for people who can take the volatility. Next slide. So these are some of the benefits investing. This is our flagship fund, investing in the fixed income fund. It's the biggest fund in Ghana at the moment, 1.2 1.3 billion Ghana cedis. Great returns, liquidity, size of fund, convenience, and we are part of the EcoBank group, the Pan-African Bank. Next one. Anything is achievable. Financial independence is possible. 4 pictures taken at the same place. 1990, 2003, 2007, 2017. Next one. That is the city of Dubai. That is the ruler of Dubai. Go back to the slide before this. Anything is achievable. Financial independence is possible. Next slide. And next slide. Of course, if you want to take this knowledge to another level, I have authored 4 books. I have 3 of the books out there. You can pick copies and read them. There are 16 keys here, 16 keys here, together 32 keys for these 2 books. I have shared 4 of them with you this morning. There are 28 more to read. And this one is Operation 1 million. You can pick one for 20 Ghana cedis, or you can pick the 3 together for 50 Ghana cedis. Next one. David Chilton, the World Bible says, the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. And I say, the best time to have taken the decision to become financially independent was 20 years ago, and the next best time is, let me use a minute to share my favorite story, and I hand over to you. I have just exceeded my time by 3 minutes, only 3 minutes, so don't look at me strangely. Last year or so, listen to me, look at me. I needed to go and do some work around the country. So I was going to Kumasi, Takwa, Takrady, Cape Coast and back. So I went by route. I went with a Land Cruiser, V8, and the color was black. The color was... So Accra to Kumasi, there were policemen, they were stopping all the cars. But when we are approaching the police, I see the policeman signaling us. But we know we have to go forward. So if you are not stopping us, we'll go. But now there is energy in. So I asked the driver, how come the policemen are forcing us to go? He said, oh, boss, it's because of the black Land Cruiser. Then I asked, what has the black Land Cruiser done? He said, that is what the politicians use. So any policeman who knows his job, if it's a black Land Cruiser. And I said, stop telling me this Nancy story. I didn't honestly believe it. So we spent 3 days in Kumasi. I was so tired. On our way to Takwa, I was asleep. So this is a black Land Cruiser. I'm sitting at the back. And I hear the driver calling me, Mr. Mante, Kwanoko. Meaning, look at something. I open my eyes and we are approaching a police barrier. And he says, Onake Mofia Mombue Fai, black Land Cruiser Samba. You see the policemen wearing their berets. They don't know who is coming. I said, wow. Then we get to the barrier and the policeman. And this is yours truly. Kofi Mante sitting at the back. Once they saluted, I said, God, forgive me. I lifted my hand and I took the salute. More like, hey, boys, take good care of the place. So we get to Takwa. I have lunch with a friend. And the friend says, hey, Osofu, black Land Cruiser, it does magic. So one time he was from Accra going to Takrady. He missed his flight. So he said he called his friend that, look, I am going to Takrady. I missed my flight, but I need to be in Takrady this evening. The friend says, no problem. My driver will pick you to Takrady. The driver comes. And the driver comes with a Land Cruiser. And the color was... So he opens the front door to sit. The driver says, no, Land Cruiser, you don't sit at the front. Go to the back. So he sits down, straps his seatbelt, and the driver asks, where did you say we are going to? He said, Takrady. And the driver told him, no problem. Today, I will show you the power of black Land Cruiser. So they left the airport at 5 p.m. Immediately, if you do what they did, may the police arrest you. Immediately they left. The driver switches on the hazard. They left Kotoka at 5 p.m. If you are familiar with the Kaswa Budumburam traffic, 5 p.m. at exactly 7 p.m., they were at Takrady Air Force Base. 2 hours. Once they stopped, the driver turned and told him, I told you I will show you the power of black. So in this savings, investment, and financial independence conference, if you take the things we are teaching you, we have no doubt that you become financially independent. When you make money, don't forget high life. Chop some. And I encourage you to buy a good car. In buying a good car, if you decide to buy a Land Cruiser, the color.
Ladies and gentlemen, another good round of applause for Mr. Paul Kofi Mante, the Managing Director for EDC Investments Limited. So we are fortunate to work with him. This is, I told you before, he's a passionate person, powerful speaker who believes in financial independence, and he believes it's possible for everyone, no matter your religious background, no matter your job status, is highly. One of the very first things he told me actually when I started working for him was if he sees me 30 years from now and I'm not financially independent, even if he's in traffic, he will get down from his car and beat me if he meets me 30 years from now. So, I mean, he's a